All right, so we have we're in Edmonton right now, and we have 140 kilometers of rated range. However, our supercharger stop in Red Deer is 144 kilometers to go, and based on projections, it says we will arrive there with minus 15% of range. There's the Keg restaurant over there. Let's go and check it out. We're here at the Keg, and wifey and I decided to order some nachos to pass the time. So right now, we have 144 kilometers to go, and earlier we only had 140 kilometers of rated range, and that won't cut it. So now we are at 156 kilometers of rated range, so we have around a 12 kilometer buffer. So once we're done eating our nachos, or when we feel full enough, most likely that would be we would be around 160-ish kilometers of range, so that would give us a good enough buffer to make it to the Red Deer Supercharger, and we'll be able to charge quickly in no time. We are at IKEA. We've charged to 180 kilometers of rated range, and it says we're going to arrive in Red Deer 1:24 a.m. with 2% charge. Alright, I guess we would be good. So let's head off to Red Deer. Some range anxiety set in, so now we have stopped at the PV Mart. Our range suddenly depleted. Actually, earlier it was -6 to the supercharger in Red Deer. So so it says we have 122 kilometers to go, but our rated range is 144, but we're going to arrive at Red Deer with 0, and it says charging needed to reach destination. Oh well, thank God for PV Mart, where we can grab a few electrons before we continue on to the Red Deer Supercharger. Anyway, what's good with the PV Mart here in Leduc is that, I'm not sure if you can see it in the distance, but there is a Timmy's, a Subway, and a Subway nearby. So, can't quite focus it, but anyway. And there's a Shell gas station right there. You can grab whatever you need. But, yeah. Anyway, I need to just grab a few electrons here. So, thank you, Sun Country, for providing the charger. And alright, so I have my handy dandy adapter, and here's the Sun Country charger. Alright, so let's just open this thing, and there you go. Let's charge away. Alright, and it says charging electric car parking only. Alright, grab a few free electrons. Anyway, once we have the Edmonton Supercharger, this stop won't be required. Right, after the top up in PV Mart in Leduc, we are still showing that we will arrive with 2% range and to stay below 90 kph to reach the destination. So we have 88 kilometers to go with a 111 kilometer rated range, but we have a projected actual range of 95. Let's see here, based on last 10 kilometers, 108 kilometers. So let's see, I'm trying to drive without the climate control. Elon, please give us more superchargers here in Alberta. We need one in Edmonton and one in Calgary, please. Once we have the superchargers, these drives will be so much less stressful. And we'll have so much less range anxiety. Yeah. So I know we'll make it to Red Deer as long as we keep the speed down. But, it's not nice to be forced to drive slow just to conserve energy. Alright. So anyway, I know that the Edmonton one is planned to open next year, but hopefully it comes sooner because there's more and more Tesla drivers in Alberta. Here's the basics of electric car road trips, especially without superchargers. So this would be so much easier if there was a supercharger. But here's the basics. If you notice, we're going 90 kilometers per hour, well below the speed limit of 110. So here's the basics of what we need to achieve. So we know that this is the rated number of 39 kilometers, 43 kilometers, I'm sorry. And we have a projected range of 39 kilometers. Wait, I need to turn the defogger on. Okay. And we have a distance to go of how much? 30 kilometers. So essentially we need to have this number, the 30 kilometers, go down to 0 before this projected range goes down to 0 and before the rated range goes down to 0. So looks like we'll make it. We have a good buffer. We'll arrive at around 2% and we'll supercharge. Take a quick pee break at the hotel next to the supercharger, and we will blast all the way to Calgary, make up for some lost time. Now we have arrived at Red Deer. So we are 2 kilometers away from the supercharger, and we have 10 kilometers of projected range to go. But we only have a rated range of 8 kilometers. So yeah, that involved a lot of under the speed limit driving, and probably more trucks overtook us than in my whole life prior to today. Made it to the Tesla Supercharger, and we have 6 kilometers of range. Yes, we just made it. All right, just like a sanctuary. So all right, so let's charge her up.
No, don't look at this lumberjack. Oh, it's a Tesla.
Hey, we're charging. Alright, so we're here at the Sheraton Hotel in Red Deer, and the car is now supercharging. Wifey is napping anyway, and it's 2:28 a.m. So here's one thing I learned. We pulled into the supercharger with only 6 kilometers worth of range, and we had to wait probably around 20 minutes before it accepted the charge. So what happened now is one of their staff approached me, and shout out to you, Chris, for chatting with us, and thank you for subscribing to our channel. And he watched my other Tesla video, so that's cool. Anyway, so while we were chatting, I noticed that when I pulled out my app, it accepted the charge. So from 6 it suddenly went to 30, and it is absolutely flying now, so I don't think we'll be here for too long. So it's 2:29 a.m. I think in less than half an hour we should have more than enough charge to make it back to Chestermere. Anyway, this is this for now. Wow, it's 4:30 a.m. and what a journey it has been. So yeah, so right now we are in our home stretch. We're on Stony Trail on our way to Chestermere in Kinniburg, and when we charged the Supercharger, I believe we had around 275 to 280 kilometers of range, and what I noticed is that the road back to Calgary has an incline up, and we used so much more range than I thought we would. So my advice for next time, if you're driving back to Calgary, try to fill up as much as you can at the Red Deer Supercharger, so you just in case of any detours, or any detours like what we had earlier. We had a detour close to Bowden, between Innisfail and Bowden. There was a wreck on the road, so we were asked by the firefighters to exit. But so we lost around 2% of our range going home. But anyway, all is good. We're gonna make it home. So the trip that usually takes, let's say, 3 hours, it took more like, let's say if you count from IKEA, it took around 4.5 because of the extra stop at Sun Country and IKEA. So there you go. So maybe the next time we go to Edmonton, we would stay overnight at the 4 Points, just like Mike does all the time, or let's just pray harder for the Supercharger to come sooner. Anyway, that's this for this video. So hope you enjoyed this journey with us. Yes, a road trip is indeed doable with the 60D, going back and forth Calgary to Edmonton in one day, but some advanced planning would be needed. Alright, this is Tesla Ariel. Till the next video. Cheers.